Hello students, so welcome to the second part of the cell. So today we are going to discuss about the nucleus. Okay, in the last lecture we have completed about till the gene. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the nucleus in more detail. See, if you are going to look at the structure of a nucleus, proper nucleus, okay, so suppose I zoom this nucleus, there would be one more nucleus which we are going to call that as nucleolus. Okay, the space which is present inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. Okay, we have studied about this part. This is nucleolus. Okay, there is the outer cover which helps the nucleus to get protected. It's called nuclear envelope also. Okay, or we can call it as a nuclear membrane also. There are some thread like of structures. Okay, there are some thread like structures which are called chromatin. Okay, which are called chromatin fibers. What are these chromatin fibers? There are some thread kind of a structure which are present inside this nucleus which are called chromatin fibers. What is the function of these chromatin fibers? When they become thick and become ribbon like, they form this kind of a shape, this X kind of a shape like this, which is called chromosomes. This X kind of a structure is called chromosomes. Okay, these chromosomes, the function, these chromosomes have some specific set on them. They are called gene factor. Now, what are chromosomes? These chromosomes are the highly coiled form of the chromatin fibers. When they get condensed, okay, when they get cooled down, so it forms X kind of a structure like this. This is known as the chromosomes, which has a particular amount of gene on them. We humans have 46 chromosomes. Okay, we humans, in our body there are 46 chromosomes. Okay, just remember this number, and 23 in pairs. Okay, what does pair means? 2 na. So if you multiply 23 2s, so it becomes 46. So there are 46 chromosomes inside the human body, which makes our body. Okay, these chromosomes, I said something about the gene part. These chromosomes have some specific hereditary units on them. They are called as a gene. That gene is made up of a DNA. You have already heard many a time before also about this word, that is DNA. The abbreviation of the DNA is deoxy deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, what is this DNA? This DNA is a complex chemical substance. Okay, this is a complex chemical substance. So basically you understand that this is a chemical substance which is present inside the human. What is the function of this DNA? This DNA helps to identify a person. Okay, in many criminal cases, if they wanted to match up any of the fingerprints that is present on that spot, so they identify it by a DNA. Even a hair has a particular DNA. With the help of that DNA, they can identify the whole person. So this is the main feature of this DNA. Now, application based question. If we humans have 46 chromosomes, there is one cat family, lion, tiger, cat. They belong to the same class. That is the cat family. They have 38 chromosomes. 38 chromosomes. But if you notice, they doesn't appears to be the same. Why this cat, lion, tiger does not appears to be same? Because they have difference in their gene. Okay, the chromosomes numbers can be same, but there would be always a difference between the gene part. So remember one thing, genes are the hereditary unit which are present on the chromosomes, okay, which gives the specification, which gives the characteristics. Like lion, tiger and cat, three of them look different, they seems to be appear different, okay, then natures are different, so this is due to the genes only. Now we are going to discuss about the mitochondria. Mitochondria is very important, very important, okay. Many of the question ask, many of the schools ask the question from this mitochondria, and this is quite important for the board as well, okay, for the board exams as well, okay. So first we are going to discuss about the shape, okay, how this mitochondria looks. It has a double wall and the inner fold are called cristae, okay. This is the double wall. What do you mean by double wall? See, we can see out here the two structure. This is the outer membrane and this is the inner membrane. So these are the double wall, okay. Now there are some folds inside this which are called cristae, and this double fold are like this. You can see this, sorry, these folds are like this. Why there are so many of the folds? So that it can increase the surface area, okay, so that it can increase their surface area. These mitochondria have the specific DNA, okay. None of the cell organelles have, but this mitochondria has their specific DNA, okay. There are some of the ribosomes, okay. What are ribosomes? That are the particular, like they are the granules. And what is the function of these ribosomes? To synthesize the protein. But the main work as of now of the mitochondria, it works in the cellular respiration. It releases the energy in the form of ATP. Cellular respiration, what does that mean? We humans puts a lot of efforts to do up any of the work. So whenever we put up any of the when we put efforts, at that period of a time we release the energy, okay. That energy release is in the form of the ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, okay. Cellular respiration means we humans take in oxygen but releases carbon dioxide, okay. This taking in of oxygen and releasing of carbon dioxide happens inside this mitochondria, so that is why it is known as the cellular respiration, which release the energy in the form of the ATP. This is called the powerhouse of the cell. They might ask you for the give reason, okay, why mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell because it works in the, okay, it works in the cellular respirations, which helps to release the energy in the form of ATP. So this reason is very much important, okay. And this mitochondria helps in the various metabolic functions of the cell as well. What do you mean by metabolic functions of the cell? Suppose we humans eat food, so we takes in energy, but at the same period of a time the excess amount of energy we release also, okay. So that release of the energy inside from our body is called the metabolic activity. Now we are going to talk about the lysosome. These lysosomes are also called as the intracellular digestive system. They are called intracellular digestive system. What does this intra means? Intra means within. Okay, this lysosomes is present inside a cell. Okay, suppose this is a lysosome. The wall of the lysosome is quite thick in nature. Okay, it's very thick in nature. Why the wall of the lysosome is quite thick? Because when during starvation, what do you mean by starvation? When this cell is hungry, okay, there is no amount of glucose present inside this cell. So at that period of a time, it digests up the food which is present inside the cell. Suppose these are the granules, okay, this is the granules, okay, ribosomes, which synthesize the proteins. So the protein which is produced by these ribosomes have been digested by these ribosomes during starvation period only. Okay, why the wall is quite thick? The reason because whenever cells damage or get destroyed, so its own lysosomes digest this cell. If suppose this is a cell, okay, which is suppose damaged, suppose it's damaged, okay, and this is the lysosome present out here. So this lysosome is going to see okay, this is getting damaged or destroyed, so it is going to digest its own cell. So that is why it is known as the suicidal bag also. These liposomes, in the easier term, we can call it as a graveyard. This is the graveyard of the cell. Okay, whenever cells die, it has been digested by its own lysosome only. Now, centrosome. Centrosome is only found in the animal cell. First, you should know this part. Okay. Where are these centrosomes present? These centrosomes are present near the close to the nucleus or near to the nucleus. Near the nucleus. Okay. These centrosomes, this two structure we can see out here. This is a proper structure of a centrosome. Inside this centrosome, there are centrioles present. We can see this part, okay? See this part. Like this. We can see this part. Okay? What is the work of this centrosome? The main work or the main function is to initiate. Initiate means start and regulate the cell division part. Cell division means like why it is present inside this animal cell? Because see, if there is one cell inside our body, so we know that part very well. Okay, our cells die and get damaged. So these cells get converted into two. Okay, these cells gets converted into more two, so it becomes 4. See, from one cell there was a production of 2. From 2 it was a production of 4. From a production of 4 it was a production of 8. So these numbers were changing, right? From 1 cell we got 2 cell. From 2 cell we got 4. From 4 we got 8. So this was the function of the centrosome, that it initiates the cell division. Okay, so when this cell division happens, so we can see the increase in size also. When you were a baby at that period of a time and see in the teenagers part, we can see there is a certain increase in your body features. So this was all due to the centrosome only. Now we are going to talk about the vacuole. Vacuole, suppose there is a cell, okay, this is called a vacuole. Okay, the function of this vacuole is for the storage of water. Okay, because of this it gets turgidity. What do you mean by word turgidity? See, suppose let's take an example to understand. If suppose I am taking a balloon, okay, of irregular size. If suppose I pour water in this balloon, so after few minutes what is going to happen? After few seconds we can see the size got increased. Okay, this was the balloon. When we poured water, so it got bulged. So this word is called turgidity. Okay, this is turgidity. This vacuole contains this vacuoles contain fluid and mineral. That fluid means water, and the mineral means mineral salts. Okay, this fluid plus a mixture of a mineral salt is together called as the cell sap. Okay, we can't consider clearly fluid only, we have to mention mineral salt also. So that is why it is called the cell sap. And again, if you see at this vacuole, suppose this is a vacuole, so this outer covering, this outer protection is called tonoplast. This outer protection is called the tonoplast. This vacuoles is quite bigger. Okay, these vacuoles are quite bigger in plant cells. Why they are quite bigger in plant cells? Because they have to hold a lot amount of a liquid and mineral salt so that it can supply to the stem, leaves. But these vacuoles are quite small in animal cells because they do not have to store up the water. Okay, because they does not have to store up the water, but the plant's cells has to store up the water for the photosynthesis also. Now plastids are only present inside the plant cells. Okay, the plastid can be of a different shape, that is oval, spherical, disc shape. Okay, what is the function of these plastids? These plastids impart colors of different types. Okay, this imparts different types of color. You have heard about this word in the previous also, chloroplast. Chloroplast. What is a chloroplast? Chloroplast is the cell organelle which contains chlorophyll. Because of this chlorophyll, plants get the green color. Okay, see, what is a chloroplast? It's a cell organelle which has one chlorophyll inside this. Okay, suppose this is a chloroplast, and inside this we can see this structures, this green color structures. What are this? They are the chlorophyll. What is the function of this chlorophyll? That they impart green color to the leaf. Okay, and their function of this chlorophyll is to trap solar energy and absorb carbon dioxide. So when they absorb carbon dioxide and sunlight, they can perform of the photosynthesis part. Okay, with the help of carbon dioxide, sunlight, they can perform of the photosynthesis process. They also produce and store glucose. Okay, because they perform photosynthesis, no? So that is why they produce glucose and they store glucose so that it can function for them as well. Now we are going to talk about the chromoplast. Okay, what is the function of this chromoplast? This chromoplast contains carotenes, that is red and orange color, and yellow color pigments. Okay, this pigments helps to give color to the petals of the flowers. and this chromoplast give colors to the fruit also. See, the leaf are always green in color, but if you are going to look the flowers, the fruits, they are of a different colors. So how there is a difference in the colors due to this chromoplast? These are the different colors. Carotene means orange and red, and xanthophyll means yellow color, because xanotho is a Greek word where xanotho means yellow and phyll means leaf. Okay, so it gets a yellow color texture. Now we are going to learn about the leucoplast. What do you mean by leucoplast? First of all, the word leuco means white or colorless also you can call. Okay, white or colorless. They does not have any pigment. What does that means? Pigments means no color. No pigment means no color. Okay, pigments means the color. Okay, imparting color. What is the work of this leucoplast? The work of this leucoplast is to store starch. What is starch? Starch is a type of a carbohydrates. Which plants or which vegetables have a lot of leucoplast? That is potato. So that is why doctor always recommend to the obese people who are quite fat to avoid the potato, because potato helps you to increase in size. So that increase in size is due to this starch only. Okay, this carbohydrates only. So where it is present in the potato, a lot of leucoplasts are present. Now we are going to learn. See, we have discussed about the different cell organelle. Right now we are going to discuss about the prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Now first we will understand the word pro, and the meaning of the pro means primitive, or easier sense means old. Primitive or old. The word karyotic means nucleus. Word eu, that is eu, means true. And the word karyotic already mentioned, that is the nucleus. See, old nucleus and true nucleus, if I am going to read like this, let's understand them perfectly. In a prokaryotic animals, there is no well-defined nucleus. What does that means? If you are going to look to a diagram of a bacteria, so what we are going to see, that we have said that inside the nucleus there are some chromatin fibers like this. Okay, but they does not have a well-defined nucleus. Okay, or the nucleus is absent. Suppose this is an imaginary line I am making out here. Inside this there are the chromosomes. As it does not have a well-defined nucleus, see the structure of the nucleus out here, it does not have a well-defined nucleus, so that is why the chromatin has been spread out here. But this eukaryotic has a very well-defined nucleus. So all the chromatins are perfectly arranged in this part. Prokaryotic are usually small animals, so that is why there are small ribosomes present. Eukaryotic have a larger ribosome size, which helps for the protein synthesis. Prokaryotic have no cell organelles. Okay, they does not have any kind of a cell organelles, but eukaryotic have several cell organelles like ER, endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplast, chromosomes. That is chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, lysosomes, mitochondria, etc. There are various cell organelles. So when we have studied about the cell organelles, so we were discussing about the eukaryotic only. Okay. Now, last What are the examples of prokaryotic? That is bacteria, blue green algae. So you have many of a time, if you have seen this part inside the pond, so we can see that green algae, okay, that green colors appear. Suppose this is a pond, okay, so some green color organism that is there inside this water. So this is nothing but the blue green algae, okay. This blue green algae is also called as the cyanobacteria. It is also called as cyanobacteria. Now we are going to discuss about the eukaryotic. We humans have these cell organelles, even the plants have. We have studied this in detail right now. So these are considered to be the eukaryotic. The primary and the major difference between this is that they does not have a well-defined nucleus, and eukaryotic has a well-defined nucleus. This is the main reason of this part. Now we are going to talk about the protoplasm. What does protoplasm means? Protoplasm means the living matter. That is, it is made up of cytoplasm and nucleus. This cytoplasm and nucleus together contributes for the formation of a protoplasm. Since this cytoplasm and the nucleus are the living matter, this protoplasm is also a living matter, okay. This protoplasm is contained inside the cell, okay, and this protoplasm basically is made up of different types of elements, okay. What are these elements? They are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, iron and phosphorus, etc. Okay, they are present. And what is the function of this protoplasm? That it helps in the water, okay, formation of water, proteins, carbohydrates, etc, etc. Okay, this was all about the protoplasm part. So thank you students. So this was the end of the part 2 of cell.